In November of 2023, an intoxicated man was captured on dashcam video dancing in front of a car in the middle of a busy roadway in Durham city centre, England. One of his friends initially tried to stop him, but then pulled back when the unnamed man ran across the lanes. He was clipped by one car, but due to his advanced state of inebriation, he didn't stop and marched on towards the opposite lane. He was then struck hard by an SUV and launched into the air. The police subsequently used the dashcam footage as a warning for the public, drivers and pedestrians alike during the upcoming holiday season. A spokesperson for the Durham Constabulary noted, "The man in the footage gave us permission to release this footage, so please be kind." The clip not only showed the moment of impact, but also first responders working on the man's body. In the video, the police revealed that he'd broken 12 ribs and every single bone in one of his legs, concluding he was lucky, and look out for your mates. Number 7. Nathan Danuka. The Warm Springs Police Department in Oregon was alerted that the driver of a white Ford Explorer had fled after hitting a car near the Plateau Travel Plaza at around 1 p.m. on February the 22nd of 2021. The police were told that the driver, later identified as 28-year-old Nathan Danuka, was heading into town. When Danuka was pulled over, officers observed that he was intoxicated and noticed that there were several alcoholic drinks spread about his car. After he was told to get out of the vehicle, Danuka accelerated and led the police on a half-mile chase before he crashed into a concrete barrier. He was taken to a local hospital where his blood alcohol was taken. Danuka tipped the needle at 0.778%. breaking the record for the highest blood alcohol content ever measured in the US. Doctors found it remarkable that the man was still alive. According to American Addiction Centers, a BAC over 0.40 is considered lethal, as the heart and breathing can stop. Without developed tolerance taken into account, the 5'7", 190-pound Danuka would have had to have downed at least 28 shots of hard alcohol within 2 to 3 hours to reach his BAC. Danuka was charged with driving under the influence, reckless driving, and a felony charge of evading police. He was sentenced to 13 months in prison in the summer of 2021 and was also given a year of probation and a lifelong suspension on his driving license. At the time of his latest arrest, Danuka was on parole for a June 2020 incident in which he was charged with driving under the influence and recklessly endangering another person. Number 6. Jamal Wing. In July of 2023, a Delaware state trooper spotted a Toyota Camry speeding while heading southbound on the Philadelphia Pike near Rolling Road. The trooper signaled the driver, 47-year-old Jamal Wing, to pull over. After Wing stopped in a parking lot, he exited the car without being told to do so by law enforcement. Wing disobeyed commands to return to the vehicle and fought back when the troopers tried to restrain him. The troopers then deployed a DSP K9 unit named Mako. Wing fought with the K9 unit as well and was even reported to have bitten Mako multiple times. After Wing was eventually subdued, law enforcement noted that there was alcohol on his breath and that he exhibited signs of impairment. The suspect was taken to a local hospital to be treated for injuries sustained in the fracas. His booking photo would subsequently show him with an abrasion above his left eye. While at the hospital, Wing resumed his aggressive behavior and continued to resist arrest, assaulting a trooper. Before the drunken and unruly suspect was finally jailed, he'd injured 2 troopers and bitten a police dog. They were reported to have fully recovered. Wing faced a myriad of charges in the incident's wake, including 2 counts of assaulting an officer, 2 counts of resisted arrest with violence, 1 DUI count, and 1 count of assault on a law enforcement animal in the 1st degree. Number 5. Felicia Franklin. In September of 2023, law enforcement in Morrow, Georgia, found a lawmaker passed out in front of the 404 Sports Bar and Grill. Body cam footage showed officers approaching Felicia Franklin, the vice chair for the Board of Commissioners, who was also running for the county chair position, unconscious on the ground. The cops called for paramedics and she was placed on a gurney. When Franklin regained her senses in the ambulance, she began crying, cursing at first responders and lashing out in violence. She hit an EMT, yelling at him to get the F out of her face, but was also recorded crying out, "Don't leave me, don't leave me." At one point, she told the officers, "I don't know what they gave me." Franklin became even more agitated once she was transferred to a bed at a local hospital, whereupon she started calling out for her mother. As news of the incident spread, the lawmaker took to Facebook on October the 1st of 2023 and claimed that she'd been drugged with a GHB pill, while at the sports bar added, "This incident has shaken me to my core." However, a separate video showed her being confronted by local police with receipts proving she'd consumed more alcohol than she'd initially claimed. Franklin reacted in disbelief upon being told that she'd had roughly 5 drinks at the bar. They consisted of 3 "That's a Home Run" drinks, which contained 40 proof Hennessy and Grand Marnier, as well as a glass of wine and a swig of someone else's beer. Her drinking was confirmed by surveillance footage from the bar, and Franklin's urinalysis tested positive for cannabis. Sergeant Scott Stewart of the Morrow Police Department reported that there was no evidence Franklin had been drugged. In late October, the Board of Commissioners terminated Franklin as vice chair, noting that her conduct had been unbecoming of the position. The woman maintained that she'd been drugged and filed a wrongful termination suit that was ongoing as of the latest updates on the matter. Number 4. Joshua McCarthy. In the last 90 minutes of a flight from Dubai to London, on April the 3rd of 2016, Joshua McCarthy, aged 21, became aggressive and spat on a passenger sitting in front of him. McCarthy, who downed at least 5 small bottles of wine, was approached by a flight attendant named as Haley, who tried to calm him down. He lashed out at the woman, swore at her, and called her a red-haired Nazi. Passenger Christopher McNerlin intervened to try and help Haley bring McCarthy under control. A struggle ensued, and the latter bit into McNerlin's forearm, breaking his skin in spite of him wearing a sweater. McCarthy kept his jaws clamped for roughly 2 minutes before he was removed. He was taken to a West London police station after landing. To show his appreciation for McNerlin's intervention, the captain allowed him to take a photo in the cockpit. After the plane had been parked in the hangar, McNerlin later posted the photo to his social media. He was shown giving the thumbs up with a bandage on his forearm and wrote, "That time when you help restrain and handcuff a nutter at 40,000 feet. He bites you, but it's all okay because Captain Kendall lets you sit in the cockpit." The man also uploaded a photo of the bite mark that the unhinged passenger had inflicted. During the legal proceedings that followed, McNerlin revealed that he'd suffered from unbearable anxiety in the incident's wake and that he'd stopped having intimate relations with his girlfriend for a month as he waited to find out if he'd been infected by the bite. Haley had trouble sleeping and reported that she feared being alone around men, particularly if they were intoxicated. McCarthy was given 2 months for the spitting, 9 months for being drunk on an aircraft, and 4 months for assaulting McNerlin. The sentences were to be served concurrently and suspended for 18 months. The young man was also ordered to perform 220 hours of community work and pay over £1,000 in court costs and compensation. Number 3. Denton Loudermill. During the Super Bowl 58 victory parade for the Kansas City Chiefs on February the 14th of 2024, a mass shooting erupted in Kansas City, Missouri at the west side of Union Station. 22-year-old local DJ Lisa Lopez Galvin was killed. 22 people suffered gunshot injuries and over a dozen others were hurt in the chaos that ensued. 2 male adults and 2 male juveniles were arrested in the aftermath. One Kansas City Chiefs fan went viral and was left fearing for his life after captions from online videos and photos named him as one of the shooters. The case of mistaken identity involving Denton Loudermill began after the red-suited clad supporter was photographed, handcuffed and surrounded by police officers shortly after the mass shooting had occurred. Loudermill began receiving death threats and was harassed when the internet misidentified him. It would emerge that he hadn't been involved in the incident and that he had actually been arrested for being intoxicated. During a press conference, Loudermill addressed the matter alongside his attorney, Lorona Lassiter Saunders. The man said that he was just enjoying himself like countless others attending the parade. Saunders urged those watching, "Get the truth out there. Help us clear his name. Help us save his life." Today's topic was requested by Robert Luth 4010, Musculus Garbos, and Nikki123BXD. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comment section below. Number 2. Samantha Lynn Goody. In August of 2013, a young woman was arrested after she'd jumped onto the field during the Northern Illinois-Iowa game in Iowa City. 22-year-old Samantha Lynn Goody was arrested by University of Iowa police and given a breathalyzer test, which revealed that her blood alcohol content was 0.341. She was charged with public intoxication, and moments after her release from custody, Goody tweeted, "Just went to jail," and added the YOLO hashtag under the Twitter handle Vodka Sam, which featured a photo of Goody with her tongue out and 2 middle fingers up. The student boasted about her BAC and wrote, "I'm going to get 0.341 tattooed on me because it's so epic." Her braggadocious tweets went viral and drew a wave of criticism from users who were promptly dismissed by Goody as haters. The misguided pride she felt towards her drinking was further highlighted by her retweeting a user who'd written, "Goody doesn't have to use birth control because nothing can live in that much alcohol." Goody maintained that she got good grades and was in no way different from any other student enjoying the college experience. Not long afterwards, the 22-year-old disappeared from social media completely. In an interview with the Daily Iowan, she revealed that the attention generated by her Vodka Sam notoriety had made her feel embarrassed and brought back feelings of depression with which she'd struggled in the past. Goody stated that after graduation she wanted to get into social work to help other people dealing with addiction, disabilities, or other challenges. Immediately after number 1, we will tune up our episode about when behaving like a diva goes wrong. Stick around if you'd like to watch that one as well still. Number 1. Kimberly Coats. 53-year-old Kimberly Coats, a teacher at Perkins Tryon Intermediate School in Oklahoma, was arrested on August the 17th of 2023 after she'd showed up drunk to work on the first day of term. There was suspicion that Coats was intoxicated, and the police were called to the school, with the ensuing interview caught on body cam footage. School Superintendent Doug Ogle was present in the room and told the woman, "You're not the same person I talked to this morning," and accused her of being off and acting weird. Although visibly impaired, Coats maintained that the last time she'd had anything to drink had been at 3 a.m. that morning, and vehemently denied drinking on school grounds. She consented to a breathalyzer which revealed she was 3 times over the drink-drive limit. The interviewing officer expressed the suspicion that the teacher was a functioning alcoholic, noting that it was impossible for her BAC to be that high after having had her last drink at 3 a.m. Coats claimed that she couldn't call her husband or a friend to come pick her up, and the officer told her that he didn't want to humiliate her by handcuffing her in the school. When Coats asked if she would be fired, Ogle answered, "Honestly, yes, or you can resign. You're under the influence at school with kids." The superintendent then went to gather her belongings and returned with a blue cup. He told Coats, "No more games, right?" Then placed the cup on the table, demanding to know about its contents. The teacher claimed it was red juice, but the cop, after smelling the cup, concluded that there was wine Want to try again? After it was confirmed that she'd been drinking on the job, Coats was handcuffed and arrested for public intoxication. She showed up to the Payne County Courthouse in November to face her charge. A deputy inquired about her presence at the courthouse and then observed Coats as she moved through the building. She was seen using the railing and wall to support herself as she walked up the stairs to the courtroom. The deputy then learned from someone from Court Supervision Services who'd interacted with Coats that they detected the strong odor of alcohol on the woman's breath. Once the disgraced former teacher was finished in the courtroom, the deputy who'd been tracking her movements approached her on the second floor. As shown in body cam footage, Coats appeared to be disoriented when the cop asked if she'd had anything to drink. Coats admitted to consuming a glass of wine in the morning. The deputy then told her she exhibited signs of intoxication, including balance issues and slurred speech. In the moments that followed, Coats was once again handcuffed and arrested for public intoxication. Los Angeles native Chelsea Chanel Dudley rose to prominence through appearances on the reality and comedy television shows Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory and Ridiculousness, which began airing on MTV during the early 2010s. Better known by her stage name, Chanel West Coast, Dudley found herself in hot water following a physical altercation at a West Hollywood nightclub. In August of 2015, deputies from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department were called to the One Oak nightclub after receiving reports that a patron had conducted a citizen's arrest on a woman accused of battery. Upon arrival, law enforcement found 26-year-old Dudley in the custody of security guards. She'd reportedly gotten into a fight with another woman at the club and eventually came to blows with her. According to subsequent reports, the reality star was extremely uncooperative as officers attempted to arrest her. She allegedly struck a sheriff's deputy and tried to bribe law enforcement into letting her go before finally being taken to the West Hollywood police station and booked on battery charges. Following her release the next morning, the woman took to Twitter to vent her frustration with the police's handling of her. She posted pictures of bruises she'd allegedly sustained during the arrest, seeking sympathy from the general public. The response to her social media post was largely negative, however, as many likened her unruly behavior and refusal to accept responsibility for her actions to that of a petulant diva rather than an innocent victim. Number 6. Teran Thomas. In the early morning hours of December the 10th of 2014, the police in Bloomington, Indiana, were called to the 300 block of East 8th Street for a report of a strange woman behaving disorderly. The 911 caller indicated that the suspect had been banging on their front door for approximately 30 minutes, begging to be let inside. Responding officers encountered the woman, later identified as Teran Thomas, still standing outside the caller's residence. Law enforcement immediately noted Thomas's slurred speech and generally abusive behavior. They also detected the smell of alcohol on her breath. Outfitted in shorts, a long-sleeve shirt and socks, Thomas told the police she was searching for her boyfriend's apartment but couldn't provide them with a phone number to get in contact with him. While the officers were gathering information from the woman, she kept repeating herself, neglected to answer their questions, and at one point tried leaving the apartment complex but was subsequently arrested. Thomas allegedly refused to sit in the back of the squad car and pushed officers away as they attempted to restrain her. She was eventually subdued and taken to the Monroe County Jail, where she was booked on charges of public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and resisting law enforcement. Thomas, who was the winner of the Miss Indiana beauty pageant in 2013, had her charges dropped the following spring. Number 5. Vanessa Bello. A woman formerly crowned Miss Miami Lakes was arrested during an ugly Christmas sweater party at her home in Hialeah, Florida, on December the 22nd of 2016. According to an arrest affidavit, 26-year-old Vanessa Bello, who was also a contestant for Miss Florida USA in 2017, was hosting the holiday gathering for her cake business. At some point, she asked the male guests to leave for reasons that weren't publicly disclosed. Many of the attendees, including Barcello herself, were described as having been very intoxicated, which contributed to an abrupt escalation of the situation after the guest refused to depart from the party. Barcello and another man reportedly pushed the individual down a flight of stairs, after which the woman swung a baseball bat at him and punched him in the face while he was on the ground. The victim managed to escape and dial 911. He was subsequently brought to the hospital with a severely injured left eye. Barcello outright denied striking the man, but the blood found on her hands contradicted her claims. The South Florida beauty queen was booked on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated battery, and battery before being released on a $1,500 bond. Public interest in Barcello's criminal case experienced an uptick in 2021 when she appeared in season 1 of Netflix cooking competition series Baking Impossible. Number 4. Ezra Miller. American actor Ezra Miller, originally from Wyckoff, New Jersey, came under heavy fire after being arrested multiple times within the span of a few weeks in the spring of 2022. On March the 28th, the Flash and Fantastic Beasts star was taken into police custody in Hawaii following a physical altercation at a karaoke bar in South Hilo. According to local law enforcement, Miller had started shouting obscenities at other patrons, allegedly snatched the microphone out of a singing woman's hands, and even lunged at a man playing darts. The actor was consequently charged with disorderly conduct and harassment, and after pleading no contest, paid a fine of $500. 3 weeks later, Miller was arrested yet again, this time on a charge of second-degree assault. According to Leilani Estates Subdivision Police authorities in Pahoa, the actor had tossed a chair at a 26-year-old woman, leaving a half-inch gash on her forehead. The outburst had reportedly been precipitated by Miller being asked to leave the private gathering. Officers pulled the actor's vehicle over about 20 minutes after the attack, at which point the second arrest was made. Miller also faced accusations of harassment by multiple individuals whom the actor had either threatened or displayed inappropriate behavior towards, resulting in protection orders being issued on behalf of each of the alleged victims. Number 3. Rupa Datta. A Bengali actress by the name of Rupa Datta was arrested for pickpocketing at the International Calcutta Book Fair in March of 2022. Datta, who's acted in television soap operas and appeared in the 2005 film Sati, The Companion, was reportedly seen by a police officer tossing a purse into a dustbin at the venue of the book fair. She was subsequently detained and questioned, but allegedly gave answers that were riddled with contradictions and discrepancies. Datta's bag was searched, whereupon investigators found several stolen purses and approximately $900 in pilfered cash she had in her possession. The specific offense authorities charged the actress with was kepmari, or attention diversion theft. Law enforcement reportedly launched further investigation to ascertain whether there were other individuals connected with the woman's criminal activity. Datta's arrest came only 2 years after she was lambasted for wrongfully accusing director-producer Anurag Kashyap of harassment. The actress alleged that Kashyap had sent her inappropriate Facebook messages, but it would ultimately emerge that she'd actually been communicating with a different man who also happened to be named Anurag. The most recent reports related to Datta's theft case indicated that she was slated to be taken to court on the charge. Number 2. Alec Baldwin. Prior to the tragic shooting incident that unfolded on the set of the movie Rust in 2021, prominent actor and comedian Alec Baldwin had already received his fair share of criticism for past behavior. Back in 2011, the New York native, known for his performances in well-regarded films and series such as Beetlejuice, The Hunt for Red October, and 30 Rock, made international headlines for his peevishness while on board an American Airlines flight at Los Angeles International Airport. As the plane was waiting to take off, all passengers were instructed to put away their electronic devices. However, Baldwin refused to put away his cell phone, which he was reportedly using to play the mobile game Words with Friends, and eventually became belligerent towards the cabin crew. The incident culminated with the actor being removed from the plane. He later issued an apology to the travelers who were delayed as a consequence of his actions, and even went on to poke fun at his petulance during an appearance on Saturday Night Live. 3 years later, in May of 2014, Baldwin faced backlash in connection with an incident involving the NYPD. According to a police source, the actor had been stopped by officers who noticed him riding his bike the wrong way along 5th Avenue. Baldwin allegedly got arrogant and loud upon being issued a summons for the minor offense, which led to him being given a second summons for disorderly conduct. After failing to produce valid identification, Baldwin was taken to the precinct station house, where he was heard saying, "How old are these officers? They don't even know who I am." In a derisive tweet about the incident, the impassioned performer called New York City a mismanaged carnival of stupidity that is desperate for revenue and anxious to criminalize behavior once thought benign. Number 1. Nadia Banassa. Born in West Germany in 1982, Nadia Banassa rose to fame at the turn of the 21st century as a member of one of the best-selling European girl groups of all time, No Angels. The band went on a 3-year hiatus beginning in 2004, during which time Banassa released a solo album which ultimately underperformed on the German music charts. The pop group reunited in 2007, but 2 years later, Banassa found herself under law enforcement scrutiny in connection with her HIV diagnosis, which she'd received during a routine pregnancy screening when she was 17. The pop diva and former reality star was accused of having unprotected intercourse on multiple occasions between 2004 and 2006 without having informed her partners that she was HIV positive. A judge deemed Banassa a potential risk to reoffend, so she was remanded into custody on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm. It was reported that at least one of the men she'd slept with had subsequently tested positive for HIV. In August of 2010, Banassa admitted her charge in court, but denied having deliberately caused any infection. The singer was found guilty of 1 count of causing grievous bodily harm and 2 counts of attempted bodily harm. She was consequently given a 2-year suspended sentence, after which she departed from No Angels and largely withdrew from the public eye. In 2021, Banassa reunited with the group for their 20th anniversary celebrations. Thanks for watching. Would you rather never be fully sober or never drink again? Let us know in the comments section below.